how many years did I have videos complaining about, like, where are the chase items? What are the fun things to find? Now there's so many.
I got a Linus. It's fine. So, like, have fun with that.
There's actually a really good thing you can do is just be luckier.
They're just incredible. They're just an incredible addition.
I thought earlier today on stream, I thought it was day 8 of the league and we're on day 14.
Yeah. It's like this and 3 hours are over.
It's like such a good league.
Welcome to another episode of the PoE Report, a podcast about all things Path of Exile from myself, Dreamcore, and my co-host, Powstron. Pow, dude, this league is just going crazy. How you doing?
Absolutely, yeah. Today we got a special guest as well who seems to be enjoying the league as well. It is the evil mastermind behind the Gauntlet, the Oscar winner for best cinematic intros, the undisputed king of dying to reflect, but he tries to die less than we do. Zizaran, welcome to the show.
Dude, I'm enjoying it so much. I'm playing Blight right now just because prismatic oils is the worst thing to farm, and it's like I just have to AFK. So I was like, do you know what I can do? I can do Blight. It's like such a good league.
It's like this, and 3 hours are over. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I thought earlier today on stream, I thought it was day 8 of the league, and we're on day 14. Yeah. So
I'm actually struggling because Last Epoch is coming out soon, and I don't know if I can do it. I'm like, it's really rough for me to get myself out of PoE. I almost want to play it, but it's really rough.
Yeah, people have been asking me if I'm going to play, and I'm like, maybe for a day? Like, they should have chose a better start time if they wanted me to play.
I guess if you play Solo Self-Found in Last Epoch, you can start whenever, right? Usually. But the start, everybody's kind of hyped, so it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I prefer SSF anyway. Like, especially in Last Epoch, the SSF mode is super
incredible.
Fun, so.
Yeah. You know, speaking of SSF, I actually really want to... I started in SSF this league, and I really want to jump back into SSF again, because they just had a big patch just now where they added one particular thing. I know that you tweeted about this, is the option to choose to get a specific coin, which was part of the reason why I actually dipped out of SSF. So, what do you think of that patch? That's a big change.
It is nice. I still have not had that many. I've been playing all day, and I got 2 or 1. But, like, I don't know. I'm getting less natural coins. And I am engaging with Mirage a lot. I am running over the spawners, which is the only thing you can get the coins from. Like, a lot of people don't know that. And obviously, whenever I can pick, like, astral monsters or frogs, those can also spawn them. I do click them. I'm still getting
frogs?
Way too few. Yeah, the frogs can spawn them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't
know
know
if
that.
the Syndicate members can, too. I don't know if there is, like, an equivalent for the green, for the skill coin one, but they're still really rare. I think, in my opinion, that's a little unhinged considering it's the main thing. So that's the only detractor for me in the league, but it's still like, you know, I managed to hit some useful stuff, just nothing on my specters.
Yeah, I'm really happy personally about the change that the trade messages don't pop up anymore over your. I mean, that's not going to be a problem for you guys, but the trade messages don't pop up over your inventory anymore. So you don't have, for example, if you're map trading and you're doing like 100 trades an hour or so, it's really annoying. But yeah.
That's really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, no one's buying my items.
That is a really good change. Do you think there's a bit of conspiracy there with those coins? Do you think they added the option where you can get the coins from the Mirage to, like, you know, the pick an option, but then they actually, like, lowered the base drop rate to compensate?
I hope not, but I have not had a single one natural since. Now, I do know that you can target farm them somewhat with Legion, because there are 2 incubators with Legion, one that guarantees a coin, and one that has coin or gold. So, like, you can farm them a little bit. Like, I'm sure, I think Steel did, like, 5 hours of Legion and got, like, 8 coins or something. So that is, I don't know if he was lucky or if I've been unlucky. I did 5 hours of Legion and got nothing. So hopefully I was unlucky. But, you know, that's an option at least. So I do like stuff like that. It feels like a very good league to target farm.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can target. That's why I started in SSF, because I think the league is just amazing for SSF.
It's SSF. Such a good league for it.
Yeah. I do kind of regret that they made the harvest recipe for the Astrolabes. I know it's really nice for SSF, but for trade, everything is just getting funneled into Breach, and all of them just kind of went up by 20. I mean, in general, it's a win for most people, but if you wanted to do something off meta, those are now also, like, more expensive. So that's the only thing. But yeah.
That makes sense. So I've barely been doing Astrolabes, to be honest. I'd say I've done 6, 7, 8, like that amount of numbers. So yeah, I guess that's probably what I've done the least. Like I think I have like 50 just sitting there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because they drop a lot from like Pandemonium, Scarab, and whatnot. Like you can easily farm them probably in SSF.
Yeah, I have a bunch. First off, I find them a little bit intimidating because one of the first ones I did was Ultimatum. And my witch that had never taken damage before went to 30%. And I'm like, is this rippy? And my child was like, no, they're not rippy at all. And I'm like, I don't trust it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I almost died. Like, so I've kind of been waiting until I have like an insanely overpowered character or my witch gets to go ES. So
the ultimatum ones are the only ones that I've done so far. Actually, I've done quite a few ultimatum ones because I was playing Castle and Stunned. And
yeah,
like usually I play hardcore, right? This is the first time I'm playing softcore in like 11 leagues or something. So it's very weird time for me overall. But I'm playing Castle and Stun, so it's already like a really tanky build, right? And I'm doing ultimatum. I've got to say the Astrolabes for me, I didn't really find them. I don't find them that interesting. They're a little bit. Okay. They just feel a little bit bland overall. I do like the getting to the memory vault at the end. I think that's quite cool, like especially like strategizing to get there quickly, and like making it so that you cut off the blob, deleting many maps at a time, things like that. But generally speaking, I don't think that they're that interesting overall. Like they're okay.
Yeah, most of them right now are just spamming them to get the reward at the end, and then there's like Breach, which has really good modifiers. But most of the other ones, if you look at them, they're not that great. Like there's a few ones that are good, but I feel like if they just rebalanced it and made it a little bit more impactful, it would probably be more fun.
Yeah. I was kind of expecting to see some change to like the modifiers mid-league, but obviously we don't have that.
Yeah, perhaps they'll do a bit of a rebalance coming up for the next league. But speaking of those Astrolabes, like the Atlas overall got a lot of big changes. There's huge changes to like the progression of the Atlas. We're starting in the middle now. There's quadrants, all this stuff that kind of feels a little bit similar to the Atlases we've had in the past, but then there's a lot of differences as well. Ziz, how did you get on with the progression of the Atlas this league?
I loved everything about it except the Fog of War. And I think the Fog of War was particularly confusing to new players. Obviously, like streamers, we can like ask other people as well, like what's top left, what's top right, and stuff like that. But if you're completely on your own, it's like a very, very confusing thing. Now they've improved it, right? Already. So I'm not 100% sure how it looks now. I guess I made a gold fan character, so I could look at that because that just got to maps. I think it was wonderful. I was a little unsure of it. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is like PoE 2. And I'm like, no, it's not. Not at all. This is just so nice, in my opinion. It's so streamlined. And what surprised me the most was I thought that I would only be farming one map. Because now I can just farm one map. I'm doing like 8 or 9 different maps. I've also felt a lot more encouraged to farm the Seer to make sure that many maps have good div cards on them. So like I'm farming Silo, I'm farming Jungle Valley, I'm farming Strand, I'm farming Beach, Atoll, Haunted Mansion, City Square, and I'm like, I don't ever farm 7, 8 different maps in one league. That's fucking unheard of. So that was really exciting for me. So for me, big win.
I think there was a lot of friction before where you had to buy into your strategy or like farm up certain maps, right? For example, 30 strands, and then you were kind of locked into strands, but now you can just say in the middle, I'm kind of feeling like Beach now, right? And it's like, you don't have to buy new maps, you don't have to Horizon Orb or hope that the league has a good Horizon Orb map at all, right? For example, you could just do it. And on the Fog of War, I actually kind of like it, but I would love, for example, if you right-click the map so you can jump to it, it would like indicate in which direction you go. Otherwise, I don't really hate it. It's just kind of I like the mysticism a little bit, right? But tell me in which direction at least, right?
Yeah, maybe like some sort of like blue arrow on the screen that goes like you can't see it yet, but it's in that direction. Like move.
Yeah, like a green, like a green border around the region, maybe.
And like also some things should be unlocked by default. Like for example, like Voidborn Reliquary Key should be unlocked by default. Blight definitely should be unlocked by default. There are a few things like that. probably both like the Eater and Exarch as well could maybe be on my
the small ones. The small ones as
at
well.
least the small ones. So there are a few things that it's like, we shouldn't need to see it.
Yeah, I think with the wayfinding, like one thing that would be nice is that we could see like from the beginning which quadrant is which in terms of like the bosses, right? So you just know like this is the Eater and Exarch quadrant, and you're going to go in that direction to chase down those two like semi-bosses and then get to the pinnacles, right? And get the Watchstone. So that would be nice.
I agree.
And with the running several maps, I also had the same experience with the Astrolabes. Like just obviously I was doing Ultimatum, so it's not really that big of a deal. But it's like just looking for the good mods, and then you bounce to that map, run that map, and then you're just always checking for those good mods. Which that was, I must admit, that does change up the gameplay experience quite a bit. So I think overall they did quite a good thing there. Like.
That's actually a good point. Like, imagine without this change having to maneuver Astrolabes and you have to prep the maps before every single time, 7 different maps, right? That would be like a non-starter, yeah. From a trade perspective, I really like the chisel changes as well. Just having it baked in. These are like, there's a lot of changes this patch that I didn't know I wanted them. I never thought about not doing chisels. And now if you press a chisel, it's the special ones and it feels good, right? But if you don't, then you just get the quantity. I like it a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, just less clicks. What about the maps not having like layouts tied to them? Do you guys think that's just pure upside? Is there not really any? I think overall it's just a great change.
Yeah, I liked it more than I thought I would.
Same.
Yeah. All right, so what about the Mirage League itself? So we had the Atlas changes. They're big changes, but I think one of the things that people are really loving this league is Mirage, because it's just basically it makes the good things about the game even better because you just get to do everything twice. Ziz, how are you finding the league? Because, I saw you saying that you love this league, so.
Yeah, so I actually just remade a tier list. I was just doing a tier list on stream, and I actually put Mirage as number 1. So my favorite league before this was Sanctum. This is my new favorite league now. So I haven't had a new favorite league for like 2 or 3 years. So my top 3 now is then Mirage, Sanctum, Sentinel. I think it makes... I actually do see a few things that could be improved. With some of I think the wishes of itself, like of Mirage itself, could be a little spicier. I think there is room for some more fun wishes, but still, like the thing that makes it my favorite league is like the state of the game is so good. There's so many things. Like even when we're watching like highlight compilations, there are just so many things to be excited for right now. Like for how many years did I have videos complaining about like where are the chase items? What are the fun things to find? Now there's so many, and it's like I think that's just a difficult thing to achieve, to get so many different things for so many different builds that you are excited about. There's not a best in slot shield, there's not a best in slot belt, right? And so there's like so many things that are exciting to find this league more than ever. So like in all the highlight comps, you're just seeing like 40, 50 different items that people are excited about. So, and I'm finding several of those, like, they are SSF findable too. Not necessarily the one you want, but you'll find something. And yeah, like I said, it just, like, enhances everything you already love about Path of Exile. So the only thing I would want to see changed is more coins, because that'd be fun to play with, but more fun wishes. Whenever I do get an exciting one, that is really cool. Even the one that's, like, feared or stuff like that, but they are like quite rare. Yeah, Redon's really cool.
Rhydon seems like one of the only really cool ones, and I wish, as you said, so like a 1 in 1,000 kind of wish. Like, I don't know, all astral mobs have a chance for a divine, something similar, like something crazy. Yeah, where you just like
they were a little reserved there, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, for me personally, I wanted to give this my favorite league of all time, but the disconnect and the like everything has been so rough for me personally. I cannot. For me, it's easy top 3, but it cannot beat Sentinel for me, because Sentinel was like no friction for me. It was exactly like just farm glaciers all day, tinks everywhere, right? Yeah. So this league is amazing, but if it wasn't for the disconnect.
Yeah, the servers have been awful for me as well. Like, I think I've been playing on like Canada for most of the league. It's actually crazy.
Washington? Washington.
Yeah, I played a lot of Washington.
Yeah,
Washington predictive, best server for EU. I mean, yeah.
it's
Very frustrating.
not been good at all. But the league overall is, I think, it's just the fact that it's quite a simple league, and it's like if you already have something that you enjoy in Path of Exile, and obviously most people that are playing have been playing for a long time, it's just amplifying whatever you enjoy, and that's just like you said, Path of Exile has such a good base. Like the base game is great. A lot of the core mechanics are fantastic, and so, Mirage is just amplifying those things. In terms of the choices from Virashta, I do think, like you said, there could be more of those, like, very, very low chance options that pop up and you're really excited for them.
Yeah, a few more.
But one of the other things I think is quality of life stuff, like things that for example, you choose something, immediately teleport us into the Mirage. Don't spawn a portal that I then have to also click on to get in. Same with like the leaving the Mirage. I don't want to have to like click the button to then be teleported to the portals, then click on the portal to get out, right?
Yeah, they should have control portal hotkey, takes you straight out.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so there's definitely
or just
quality
don't make it at all. Why is it like, can't you just click on her, choose, and then you just get TP'd in? Is there any reason why you'd want to choose and then chill and then go in? Like, I'm not really sure.
I just got my prismatic oil. I guess like sometimes I do actually do that. I'll like open it, see what I have, and then go back later. And especially like the reason why you would not want to like teleport straight out, right? Is like sometimes I use it to like half the backtracking. So I definitely do want the option.
Yeah.
Less so on the way in though. Less so on the way in.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the actual option should have little icons just so you know what they are, right? So like, here's a unique. By the way, the uniques don't spawn in the endgame? I'm not going crazy, right? In the campaign, you had the option to like, here's a unique body armor, and then in the endgame, you don't get those options, right?
True. I have not noticed a single one. So yeah, you're right.
That is...
and
yes,
that would have been kind of cool with like... I know they don't use tiers in-game, but I kind of wish they did. Imagine if it's
I wish they did.
You get a tier 3 unique. You get a tier 2 unique. Tier 1,
I
tier
think
0.
they can... The thing is, I feel like part of the reason why they haven't done that in the past is because they want to kind of blur the lines a bit. They don't really want to have like the whole, PoE database stuff like coming in from the outside. Like that. If the people that want to go there and look for that, they let it happen, right? But I do think like these days, the type of player that plays Path of Exile is usually someone who's very experienced, been playing for a long time. So I do feel like they could just do that because. Imagine how exciting that would be. You open the window and you're going to get a guaranteed tier 1 unique or a guaranteed tier 0 unique, and it's like, that's just exactly what we were just saying, right?
That's the thing, though. They don't actually have to even call it tiers.
Yeah.
They could have like, you will find a unique of monumental rarity.
Yeah.
You will find
whatever. Yeah.
But like, you can have like different words.
I wonder if they didn't do that because otherwise people would just be mirage fishing all day, because maps are just so plentiful as well, and that would be a weird gameplay loop, possibly. By the way, on the topic of uniques, I just remembered there is actually a 1 in 1,000, or at least for me. I don't know if you guys got lucky here. There is an option that gives you a unique jewel. I've gotten it once,
twice.
Really,
Yeah.
I've had it once in like probably 1,000 maps at least. So,
Yeah, so the first one gave me, I can't even remember the name of it, but the one that like alters, you get some stats depending on what start you're touching. Sees a vote for silence sometimes.
Something legacy or something? Or if
I know which
something
one.
efficiency,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name either. But I got that one on my first one, so I was like, yeah, that's what I was expecting. And then on my second one, I got Ancestral Vision, which until I just said, I'd completely forgotten I had, and I could save like 10 skill points on my tree for that. So I should be wearing that right now on my deal list. So it's a good thing I did this podcast.
Yeah, that's a huge jewel in hardcore.
Yeah.
I got a line
I'm
eyes.
not using it.
I got a line eyes. It's fine.
There's actually a really good thing you can do is just be luckier.
That is true. That does work. I've heard it. Yeah.
Speaking of being lucky, what about the ground loot changes? Sis, how have you been enjoying ground loot changes in this patch?
So good. I don't know if I'm crazy, I felt like it was more noticeable in the campaign than it was in maps. I haven't really been getting that many more divines than normal. I am getting a lot more random currency, and I like the Exalt change. That is very cool. I'm a big fan of that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't feel special anymore. I don't need Exalted Orbs to feel special. I want to use them. So like being able to like Exalt every single jewel I want for eternity, you know what? I'm on board with that. There's enough other stuff that feels special. So I'm less concerned about that. But it was very noticeable during the campaign, and I like that. And like it's also not been super noticeable. Like I've been doing Blight now, right? And I'm getting exactly the same amount of divines for my Blights as I used to. Not different at all. Honestly, it feels less, right? So now, if anything, I'm being unlucky. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but Blight got nerfed, right? Like the nodes and everything, and the scarabs. So maybe.
Well, no, but I'm talking about actual Blight maps.
Oh, sorry, blind maps. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I actually have a little bit of a theory about why people felt it during campaign and not too much while mapping. I've talked to so many people now, and I think it's people's concept of quantity hasn't really changed yet. For example, if you talk to somebody and they say they're boss rushing, then you're expecting, oh, I'm barely going to throw an Alcon, right? Like, I'm definitely not going to exalt my maps. But I did that, and I have the receipts for that, and you want to exalt slime everything, because you just drop random fracturing and divine orbs now, and exalts are worth nothing. Any map you run where you kill any amount of mobs should be juiced. Like, not like scarabs or anything, but there's so much free quantity lying around that we're not using. And I think that's also kind of a playstyle thing. Or using 8-mod maps in softcore anyways, and on trade. They're very cheap. You can just throw them in there. You're always going to get your money back every single time. It's so
I should be farming more 8-mod maps. I've been trying today to get more.
Yeah. And if you realize that, then, and you try, for example, Fub's Breach strat, like I did the very juicy strat today, the super hard one, and I gotta say, I mean, it's very obvious. I've done those kind of ground loot strats in the last 4 to 5 leagues, always tried it, and it's a pleasure to play. It's just so exciting. There's things everywhere. You invest like 4 divs into a map, and it just comes back tenfold. It's just a pleasure. So I think there's just like a little bit of a hiccup where people need to adapt to the changes, but I definitely felt a lot personally. Yeah,
that makes sense, because I am more like I run out of scarabs quite fast, and I don't have A-mod maps, and I also I haven't been really doing the ambush farming. I did like some, but yeah, it's mostly for like, you know, being able to farm or double harvest, because I need so many fossils. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I definitely noticed it a lot in the campaign, and on the topic of exalts, I love that. Like just exalting all of your maps up to 6 mods, like just every time, because you just have them. And then in the campaign, I mean, in the campaign, I think I dropped like 8 or 9 exalts on my first character, and I remember like the first one when it dropped, I was like, oh, an exalt, you know. And then the second one drops, I was like, oh, another exalt, and then another, you know, and then eventually, like, it's wearing off. It's not really. I guess from that perspective, it's not as impactful anymore. But I would definitely prefer it being like this, because, for example, I can just use them now. You know, in the campaign, you just find a good piece of gear, just add some mods. Like that is one cool thing that I think PoE 2 was already doing really well. It's just like, you know, use your exalts and just get extra modifiers in the campaign, and now PoE 1's doing that too. So I like that a lot.
I think it's almost worse in PoE 2, because they don't necessarily have any other, like, currency in general is just a lot less useful, right? They don't really have things that are valuable to trade. Like, our divine orbs are super useful. Divine orbs in PoE 2, like, they have functions, but they're not useful in the same way. And exalted orbs too, like, even in PoE 1 now, we can use some of the crafting bench that they are like really good for crafting, same way as PoE 2. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about the Chaos Orb. Like, a lot of people are sad that that's been devalued. But, like, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm like, is there a big reason for the Chaos Orb to be intrinsically valuable?
People are just used to it, I guess. I will say as well, another big thing why Chaos Orbs are not used as much anymore is, I don't know if you guys noticed, I just noticed it 2 days ago, but the Orc Scouring, they added that like 3 weeks into 3.27. You can now easily with Alt swap between Aux and Scours. I didn't even
so
notice
nice.
that. Yeah, and it's like actually better than chaos spamming your maps, for example, because you can't roll over. Like you can't double click or server side have a lag. Yeah, it's like Scour all, Alch all. It's amazing. So that's also another use case that went away. I don't think there's any particular reason. I just like that they made Exalts more common because back when they swapped Divines and Exalts, I think they realized that Exalts are just more fun. So people should just be able to do more Exalts because Divines are not fun, let's be real. It's like, oh, I have my, I don't know, 200 Divine item that I'm now going to Divine and get 5% more damage on my weapon or whatever. That's a Divine, right? Okay, cool. Or it's a crafting currency that you never use. So I think it's great. And Chaos is in a weird state, but does it matter? Yeah, I mean, they also did add Ancient Orbs and Fracturing Orbs, so they did compensate.
Yeah. See, that Fracturing Orbs in particular has probably been the roughest part of SSF, like, because for Trade League, they're fine and they're more common because everyone's fighting them now, not just the people that are focusing on Harbinger. But in SSF, they're definitely nearly all of mine. I think I've had 2 from normal drops, and then 4 from Kingsmarch.
Did you? Does it drop in? I haven't heard anything about Sanctum Dispatch. Do they drop from Sanctum maybe frequently?
What's that mechanic? It's like one of my favorite leagues, but I'm not really doing it this league. Like, none of my characters really make sense for it. Like, I don't want to do minion Sanctum.
Yeah. Sanctum's such a weird one for me. I had such a blast in Sanctum League. It's one of my favorite leagues of all time for sure. It's probably like top 3. But I actually just don't really like the Sanctum mechanic in the core game. I just haven't really ever enjoyed it since it got added.
That makes sense.
I'm trying to really work out what that was, but for me, yeah,
it's probably the relics, right?
Yeah, it could be the relics. Yeah, it's just a mechanic that I don't really enjoy interacting with too much. It's kind of the same in PoE 2 with the trials. Like, I just don't really. It's not really a thing in the endgame that I enjoy too much.
Is it just like novel for one league and then it kind of wears off and it's like, okay, can we move on? Kind of like at the same point with Mercenary.
For me.
I do think,
Mercenary is that for me. It's like when they say they want to bring back Mercenary, and I think about gearing my Mercenary and explaining to people what my Mercenary has. It's like, don't threaten me, please. It's like, I don't want that back. Please.
Same. I'm like, please don't bring that back. The thing is, like, I don't like mechanics that feel mandatory, right? I don't. That's why I don't like Kingsmarch in the game. I really like Kingsmarch. It's like quite high up for me. But now it's like there are some exceptions, but I feel like if you're not using your gold on mappers, you're stupid. It's literally you just have almost infinite gold, and you have almost infinite maps. So it's just like I don't want to feel that way. Like, I think they've done an okay job with the boat people. Because there you actively have to farm the ore, or it's not worth it with the crops, necessarily. So that makes more sense, because then I'm like, ooh, I want to do this mechanic, I can spec into it. But I hate it when, Heist doesn't do this to me. Like, I don't feel stupid for not heisting.
No FOMO.
So,
yeah,
there's no FOMO. Like, it's so much, I don't like that.
I feel like in Frisia, I learned that mappers are fine, but in Frisia it was fine because you gambat for the idols, right? Like, you had another outlet for your gold. You didn't feel stupid. You're like, oh, I'm either going mappers or I'm doing 2x2 Conquer Idol Gamba, which is really fun.
Yeah.
So
that's
I wonder if they could add something like that to the vendor, maybe something that isn't too powerful.
Something more worth it to gamble for. Although I was really impressed. So I had never thought of this, but Sai, one of my viewers, he was also like me trying to get suppression gloves and suppression boots. And we had both been like, I'd been doing like trying to fracture with Breach. I was having no luck. It was just like no suppression. And he was like, Ziz, try gambling. And in like 500,000 gold, I had like almost perfect gloves. So I was like, oh shit, gambling's kind of cracked.
That's after the nerf as well. They nerfed it this patch, right? They nerfed the gambling this patch. Yeah.
Did they?
They did, yeah. Yeah, they lowered the...
Can you get tier 1 suppress?
Gambling had
the 85 and
like the modifier tier rating thing that the tree has and that Necropolis had. Gambling has that in the back end. You obviously can't see it what's going on, but they actually nerfed that this patch. So you just you just don't get as good weapons from it. For example, for like leveling in it on a slam or something.
So I think all he used it on was like gloves, boots, and helmet because they only need 85. You wouldn't use it on chest. But for those, it was surprisingly viable. So if you are sitting there with like 2 or 3 million gold when you're making a new character, because a lot of people are, especially if you're trading and you have access to gold rotas, but there's even SSF players, right, that aren't really, they don't really have a good sync. So like it was surprisingly viable.
Yeah. Yeah, Kingsmarch is a weird one overall. I feel like the mappers should never have been a core mechanic. Just generally speaking, like I mean, obviously the other thing, like with the shipping, they got it wrong to begin with, but now they fixed it so that you actually have to actually invest into Kingsmarch, go in and complete the mining counters, then you have to mine the ore, and then you actually get your rewards right after it gets shipped off. But the mapping thing, like you said, it does feel like FOMO. It's just like, well, I have the gold, and maybe it will feel better in like years to come, where we have other league mechanics that are interacting with gold and like it's competing with other things. But right now, it's just like, well, if I'm not doing that, I'm literally losing out compared to everyone else that's doing it. So it feels pretty bad overall. But
I wonder if they're scared of gold farms, because there's some crazy gold farms in trade right now. So if gold becomes too good, I wonder if they're just like, oh shit. And gold farms are often also overlap with ground loot, so then you would get the most gold and the most currency. So I wonder if they're scared of that.
It's a hard thing to balance because there's such a gap there between the average player and somebody that like puts effort in, right? Like it's just insane. Like the average player maybe sitting on anywhere like 100,000 to 200,000 gold, and then you have like blasters sitting there on millions. And that's not necessarily even doing rotas. Like if somebody was doing rotas all day, you could easily be at 100 to 200 million gold now, right? So how do you account for that?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy overall. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about hardcore in this patch, because there's been some changes to, difficulty and things like that, especially like tier 17 maps getting changed to nightmare maps. The general sentiment, I think, is that difficulty in the game has come down a little bit. And obviously we have there's still the opt-in difficulty. Uber bosses are still there. They're still really difficult. But just generally speaking, Ziz, how are you finding the difficulty, in regards to hardcore and how the game's progressing in the endgame?
Well, I mean, I haven't died this patch, so people are finding my catchphrase really difficult. And I mean, there are still quite a lot of people dying. The primordial pool boss seems bugged. It's like one-shotting a lot of people. But it's like Ubers is pretty much the only hard thing we have, and then Valdo's maps, which are maybe arguably too hard. It goes very from a very consistent difficulty curve to okay, now fight the Ubers with 4 ghosts in them. Have fun with that. It's like, okay. It's like, oh, and your flasks are disabled, and you can only damage them while standing inside them. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, there would be nice with some. Hopefully that's next patch, but I would love more bosses soon, right? We obviously had the memory bosses. I feel like they were very even easier.
They are
than our other Ubers, so they weren't really a difficulty plateau. So I guess that was a little bit difficult,
Yeah,
really
I find
new difficulty.
Fear and Neglect are just they're very weird Ubers for me. They don't really feel like Uber bosses at all. Dread is interesting in the way that they kind of, I guess they just stacked those mechanics on top of each other, right? They just threw Neglect and Fear in there and said, there you go, guys, have fun with that. The actual Dread boss itself, in the normal version, is also not that interesting, to be honest with you. I don't find its mechanics that interesting. Those bosses overall, especially when they were added, they were a bit too easy, in my opinion. They just
the bosses also feel so. I don't know why, but to me they feel so thrown in. They feel like they're not really part of the game. I know that you now have to path to them, right? And they're part of the game basically. But I never think about them.
I do see what you mean a little bit, but
it's weird.
What I really want personally, I've been asking for this for years. I hope we get it one time. I hope that we get a new league mechanic that is completely standalone, even in SSF. Not tied to the maps at all, because you can standalone heist if you buy stuff from other players, and you can almost standalone delve. But I'm talking I think the Harbinger world would be completely perfect for this. where, you finish the epilogue, there's a Harbinger rift there or a portal, you go in there. And like maybe that league, you're just like, I'm not going to do maps this league. I'm not going to do a single map. Everything from maps, I'm going to buy off other players. This league, I'm just going to live in the Harbinger world. And that could maybe be really hard for some reason. I have always thought that would be so sick. Like a completely standalone endgame. So we've never had that. We've had close, never had a complete standalone endgame.
I feel like they have some of the systems there that could do that. Like, for example, Delve could be like that, but you still have to come out and actually, get the soul fight. Like, but Delve could be that, right? If you had those systems in place where you can self-sustain it. And that's the same thing with Heist. Like, Heist could be that, but there's just not the systems in place there.
They've never committed to it. They always want everything to tie back to maps. And I'm like, try one league. You can tie it back into maps later if it sucks. But try one league. So completely self-sufficient. And I think it's better to do now than ever, because now we're walking away from the homogenous era of that Legion caused, where everything drops everywhere. So just have it just most of the things you get in maps, you just can't get there at all. Make it very unique, very different things. Maybe even completely different base types. That only drop there. There's so much cool stuff you could do there. And make it weird, right? The next patch, it sounds like we're getting Harbinger rework next, right? Make it weird. Make it a little bit Harbingery. Maybe even some gear inspired by the original Breach that you could only wear while in the Harbinger world. And if you have that as a standalone endgame, that does make a lot more sense then. So, I don't know. Stuff like that I think would be really cool.
Yeah, that sort of stuff is pretty interesting. I mean, I guess it's a lot of work on their end, because the size of a league like a Delve or something like that is pretty crazy. But
yeah, they do have their own team now, so
that is true. This league, I gotta say, this league felt like I haven't really felt like this about PoE 1 for a while. In 3.25, it felt like that, right? But then obviously we had that huge gap, and then 3.26 felt a little bit like that. You kind of were really excited, but I think most of that was just because this was the first league in basically a year. And then 3.27 was a bit, it was kind of a bit all over the place. Some things I really liked about that league, like for me personally, my favorite leagues are ones that give you a bunch of utility to make completely crazy builds. So my favorite league of all time is Trial of the Ancestors, because you had all of those crazy tattoos.
That's my fourth favorite.
Yeah, you had all the crazy tattoos and stuff, right? So the build craft was absolutely insane. And in that same, vein there, I actually did really like 3.27, even if I didn't too much like the Breach just consuming every map, right? Just because the Foulborn uniques were insane. For Buildcraft, they're just incredible. They're just an incredible addition for people that like to theory craft things, So
actually, I'm always I'm sorry to cut you off, but no. I'm always defending Crucible because Crucible as a league mechanic was terrible, right? The channeling and whatnot. But let's be honest, dude. I mean, the passive trees for the weapons were amazing. Lagging out the game with forking, blazing salvos and whatnot, or rolling back up with 800% more AoE. I mean, that's cool as hell. Explodey totems, right? All the good stuff. That's a cool 100%. Idea. But
I agree with that. But I did put Crucible and Calandra tier. My three least favorite leagues was Calandra, Necropolis, and Crucible.
Really? The league mechanic is terrible, yeah.
Necropolis is easily my least favorite league. Necropolis
is crazy.
It's actually so far ahead of everything else. I actually played a lot of Calandra, even though I didn't like the league that much. I played a lot. Necropolis, I was a week into that league, and I was like, dude, I'm literally done. The corpse windows blocking everything, dude. What?
The things Calandra was kind of okay for me. I went on a honeymoon during that patch, and I think even then I did play 300 hours of Calandra, and I do think it's almost overhated. It is one of the worst leagues for sure, but I think that was also because of the state of the game. The base game was in such a bad state, whereas Graveyard, the state of the game was actually okay. It was just the league was just impressively terrible. First, it was hey, it's mandatory to use $200 on quad taps this league. I still have quad taps today that I don't fucking use anymore. Never gonna fill up that much. In SSF, I'm hoarding hell, and I have 6 quad tabs. So it's I think I have another 18 empty ones because of Necropolis. I'm never gonna fill those in any other league, hopefully. Good news, I'm never gonna have to buy tabs again. But like, yeah, Necropolis was horrible, and I remember I didn't even really want to get into the crafting, and Steel was like, "Let me do a craft with you," and I was like, "Okay, let's do a craft together." And an hour took an hour, and the craft failed, and I was like, "This system sucks so much. Dude, I hate it.
It's so bad." Because you said Kalandra is overhated. I think Necropolis is underhated. It really is. Like, people are sometimes not even putting it into their bottom 3. I swear I did the same thing as you. I bought stuff for like an hour, and then I didn't even get to craft because somebody said, no. You need this one but in construct. You need the construct type. Because there was like different types as well. And I was, okay, I'm out. I'm buying the item. I don't need this. So yeah. That was crazy.
That is wild. No, speaking of Necropolis, like with the crafting mechanic there, the tree obviously went cool this patch for the new breach. How do you, Ziz, how are you finding the tree in SSF especially? Because, you know, it got nerfed. It can't craft weapons anymore. What do you think of that?
It is still a little bit strong. Maybe it is balanced. Maybe it is balanced enough. Like, it isn't printing perfect items. If anything, it's printing crafting bases. I didn't think it was going to give me ID6 at all. I don't really understand how it's giving ID6. I guess it has a natural +1/-, and then you have +2 on the tree. But when I looked, I'm like, I'm putting in 83, and there's +2 on the tree. 83 +2, 85, but suddenly I'm making 87 and 88, and I'm like, math? Yeah, so, I don't know. I think one way to balance it probably would be to, like, limit it, and then you can have 86 can be from, like, Kalgor, then you can't really target that as easily, and it can be from Delve. And Vaal side areas and stuff. Vaal side areas almost feel like a little bit forgotten. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't fully made up my mind on if I like it or hate it in the game. I initially did not want it to go core at all. I was upset when it went core. But I would say I probably dislike it less than I thought I would.
Yeah. So for me, I would love if they take away the current way the breach tree works. I would love it to be a passive tree for breach, if anything, like a passive bonuses for the map itself. So for example, I don't know, you can choose between this track, which is like more Foulborn currency, or more chance for Foulborn items or anything like that. So just passive buffs, you never have to really go there if you don't want to. And I really like the Foulborn currency. I would like that currency to drop in maps normally. I just don't see a reason for the tree to exist. It was like a cute 1 league thing, as we talked about earlier, but does it need to be? It's just bloat, right?
I do agree. I do wish like things drop more from the mechanic, all of it. Like, no, I think you're right. I think more things should drop from the mechanic. From a SOSF point of view, it has been really nice to be able to target farm uniques a little bit. And I am a big fan of target farming. So that part, I really do appreciate. I think that part's really good. But you could still have that with, like, dropping. And it is more fun to drop things than it is to click a button. I definitely always appreciate anything that I find with killing things with my character.
Random.
And it's why I don't like the memory thread items as much, right? Because it feels too much like just crafting again. It doesn't feel as much. Like, obviously, if I find a rare one and I ID it and it's really good, that's great, but most of the time, still, it is like a crafting thing.
I guess one question I have for you is this as well regarding SSF is, because they did the ground loot patch, and now there's more currency on the ground, but what do you think about the current state of divination cards for SSF, where back in the day you could easier farm something up? Do you miss that? Do you think they should maybe include that as well in the ground loot, or do you think it's fine and you don't need it really? Is it too much?
I mean, yeah, I also haven't been really juicing for it, to be fair, but I haven't really had many div cards that I'm trying to get. The only one that I was going to try to target farm was the Craving, which gives the divination card for the Soul Eater Jewel for Spectres. But I managed to get that just by like getting lucky with the Delve Harvest double mechanic. So I didn't really need to target farm that. So it's a little hard to say. Like, I would say I have not had a single card that I can drop in any of my special maps, and I have done a lot of Seer swapping. but I also haven't done like, okay, guys, today we're gonna do like 200 Defile Cathedral and try to get an apothecary.
Yeah,
That's a hard one.
I think just going back to the breach tree for a moment, I think the part of the problem with that is like so you do this mapping, right? And the mapping for breach, I actually kind of enjoy it. Like I don't think, I never thought it was that bad, especially even in the league. Like the problem was that it was there in every map. But if you actually invest into it now in the core game, you know what you're getting into, right? You can even cancel out one of the ones if you wanted to do. For example, I was doing hives. But if you want to, you can cancel out the hives and do the unstable breaches, right? The thing that I don't really like about it is like, you know, here's like a loot explosion, and yeah, if you invest into it, you do get quite a lot of loot there, but then you're kind of taking yourself out of the mapping, you go to the tree, you have to like set up this thing, like, okay, now I want to farm like this particular body armor. Like part of that is just a bit, it's almost, it reminds me of Kingsmarch shipping. It's basically just that again, right? Because it's like you go to Kingsmarch, you have to like, oh, I'm clicking these ores to go into this ship. You know, I'm sending it to that port. Okay, then in like a couple of hours, I'm going to come back here and collect my loot. And it's just
yeah. No, the more I think about it, I wish the drafts didn't exist at all. I wish it was like, or the womb. Sorry, I wish it was literally just
drops
a skill tree for dropping, and then have it drop stuff. You can drop currency, you can drop uniques, you can like make it nice, but like. There's just no real need for it to exist.
I wonder if there's like a silly reason for it still existing, and it's like because you know how the quest line ends on kind of like a open ended. Maybe they have something planned, and in the meantime they just want to kind of keep it relevant and in the game. And in like 3 patches we get maybe it's something silly like that, but yeah.
Well, maybe it'll continue in PoE too.
Yeah. They did say that they actually said in the one of the Octavian interviews, it may have been in your one actually, I think, but they said about that they want to do, like they have the potential there to add things to old leagues, even if it's not the current league update. So like, and the one thing they talked about there is breach, because obviously that is kind of open-ended. You don't really know, we don't know how we get from breach in PoE 1 to breach in PoE 2, right? And obviously they've already said that in PoE 2, they're not really happy with breach, so they're going to kind of change that around as well. So they're kind of not in the finished stages yet. So
it would be really interesting to see them do that, like more reworks, more updates, and like kind of 2 leagues being continued and one. Like that could be very interesting.
I actually wonder if, because I'm always wondering, like with Mirage. Sorry to bring that back. It's a little bit late now, but with Mirage being so powerful and so all-encompassing, I almost don't know how they want to get that into the base game. I almost have no idea. And I wonder if they're just going to kind of evaporate Mirage, but take all the drops and put it in the main drop pool to make it a little bit more refreshing in terms of drops. For example, the Delirium Fog. Make it base game, but make it drop from Simulacrums. Or take other parts, like coins, put it somewhere else. Like all those, or the Volatile Vaal Orb. Put that in the main drop pool of Beyond. They could easily do that, right?
The Volatile Vaal Orb needs to stay. That is the best thing since Vaal Orbs. Yeah. I love that thing. It changes everything. It almost has a similar knock-on effect to original Recombinators, which was one of my other favorite things. I miss Sentinel Recombinators. I hate the current state of Recombinators. They're so stupid and boring. They don't like make me like look at gear differently. They make me look at gear as a chore. I think it should be like a minimum of 4 rare mods and work way more similar to how it did in Sentinel before we really figured it out. But yeah.
I wonder why they went away from Recombinators as items. I always thought that was a cool concept. I can't even describe why. I guess I just like the feeling of it. It feels so weird just going there and just clicking over and over instead of having an item, right? That's priced in the economy or that you can find yourself.
Yeah. Also, for Mirage though, I don't think it can be on the tree. I think they should take the majority of anything they really want from it. They should probably take from it and put it into the core game. I think a lot of the drops make sense in the actual leagues themselves, and they can get them back. I think Mirage still should be a really cool thing, but I think it should just be like something that spawns.
Like Wildwood, right? Like Wildwood?
I think it should be the same as Wildwood. I don't think you can have a tree. I think it's far too mandatory. So that should just be something that you look forward to, that maybe has its own drops and is cool, but it should not be able to something everyone's going to spec into it. Like, it doubles your skyrbs, it doubles everything. I think it should go core, super awesome. or at the very least, most of the things from a sugar core, but it can't be like, it can't have a tree.
I think that it would be really hype. Like, think about having a juiced map and then getting the 5% chance to get and you can't ever get more than 5% chance, but you hit that 1 in 20 and you get double your map, and you actually not just get a Mirage, but if you find it, you get a Mirage map, right? Like all the map. That would be amazing, yeah.
Exactly.
Really...
Yeah. That'd be cool if it's like the entire thing is miraged.
That's probably what they'll do, because they'll want it to be like when you actually do find it, they don't want to have the random chance that the mechanic that you're juicing isn't in the Mirage. Like, can you imagine how bad that feels? Like, you roll the 5% and then like, oh, the ultimatum that I'm like all invested in is over there and is outside the Mirage, you know?
The breach on the corner. This happened to me multiple times. It shows up on the minimap, but you can't get there, no matter how much you be on. So annoying.
Yeah, but perhaps they will do like the whole map. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Maybe it will be even rarer than 5%. Though. It might be like a 3% or something if that's the case, because that is quite powerful.
I would rather it was like a low percent chance to draw, and then it always does the entire map, and maybe also that all three of them are good choices when they come up. So quite rare.
Or it always drops, or it always spawns Barrier for the boss invite.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you would never get into shrine mode.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of rarity as a way of balancing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the belt?
I've never seen a Krilson.
Like the new belt. What are your thoughts on that, Ziz?
One of the best things in the game. I personally am a huge fan of that it can only roll one shrine. Sometimes, like, I love that it's not always even two. It's such a chase item, and I'm all about chase items. It's like my favorite thing. Whenever there's just like things to keep farming, every time I get to kill a boss, I get so excited at the chance of another staff. I've had too many of those. But seriously, like, just it's so fun. I actually wish that they had a tiny chance of double offensive or double defensive, like. So rare that maybe literally only one player got, like, you know, an acceleration echoing. Like, it's like maybe not even one spawns for the entire league. But, you know, hype moments like that where it gets posted to Reddit and someone's like, oh my god, someone actually got one. You know, like a priceless item. Like, stuff like that is really fun. It doesn't need to be something anyone needs to ever hope to get. But the small chance that it can happen, that little hope every time you identify that it's there, it could happen. This could be yours. Makes it so much more exciting. So I wish we had that. But yeah, no, I love the belt. And I really like that we actually have like so much competition for the belt slot now. Like they're really solid items that are all competing for it. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, because I'm currently working on my next build guide, and I got a Gloom plus Resistance belt, which is absolutely insane. And this is the first guide that I make where I say Mage Blade is the budget option. I love it. It's the best thing ever. If you can't afford this, go either Skeletal Shrine instead of and it also taught me a lot about shrines. I didn't know that Skeletal and Freezing have like Fizz extra and whatnot. So I learned a lot. Or that
that
resistance.
Ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives 30% as extra. Yeah. And that Gloom Shrine gives 10% non-chaos as extra chaos.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about that, but it's just hilarious because now and it's an interesting question as well, because if you're not running acceleration, I realized how much of the speed nowadays is balanced around Quicksilver plus Mageblood. Like, you lose that and all of a sudden you're like, okay, where do I get that back, actually? It's like, what? So
Creighton is really good this league. It's the only league I've ever helped Creighton for 8% movement speed.
That's true. I did as well, 100%, yeah. Yep.
I really like how they went about balancing the belt in terms of like the rarity of it and then identifying it, because what they could have done, there was all this hype right before the league started, and I think that probably influenced their decision. Like, people were like, this belt is insane, right, as soon as they saw it in the trader. I think that probably influenced what they ended up doing with it, because to begin with it might have just been a rare belt and it may have always dropped with 2 shrines, and they may have decided, okay, we do one and we do a rare chance for 2. But I really like that it's actually very common from the boss. Then you get the fun of identifying it, right? So you don't get, like, denied the belt. You actually always get that, or almost always get that sort of hype of actually being able to identify. I think that's such a cool way to go about it.
100%. I mean, it's almost as cool as that which was taken like, which is my favorite item of all time.
Oh my god, I agree so much. I would love that back with like maybe 3 mods or so. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
And like disable some of the really OP ones, sure, but it's so cool. I love Watcher's Eye type items.
Yeah, all those items are interesting. Like any item that you actually are excited to identify is always interesting, I think. Because like we have
fun.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say we have so many items in the game that fall on the ground that you don't want to pick up and identify, right? And most of them you just don't see. So actually having an item that you want to identify and then being excited to see what happens, next is really cool.
I do think the Super Vaal Orb changes every unique item in the game, though. Like, there's so many items now that before you maybe only needed one, maybe you didn't even care. Now there's so many where you're like, oh, I want 40 of these now.
What I love the most is that it also divines the item before. Because now you don't, for example, I have this with Defiance of Destiny right now, right? Defiance of Destiny is completely broken. If you hit it and you get quality on it, it can be like, I think 28%, right? 28 or 29%. Yeah. Crazy. Almost like old school Defiance. And I'm just thinking I can just buy up the cheapest ones and try it. I don't have to like divine it up all the time and get it to 20. So all the ones that have huge roll ranges, you can just buy the cheapest ones, as you said. Yeah, or Lightning Coil, Cloak of Flames, like all of those are game changers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that item is so fun.
It is really good.
Yeah. And it also has more decisions because, for example, before Lightning Coil was always really good on casters because you could get a +4. But now it's like, well, you can either get +2, +4, or you can get 60 as extra instead of 50, right? So there's even more decision. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's my favorite thing about Path of Exile. That's my just favorite thing in games in general. Like the choice between different OPs. Whenever it's super obvious, which sometimes I think like the worst thing in PoE for this right now is probably very often the ascendancies, right? The ascendancies are very often like, well, this is the choice. So that's why I like Bloodline so much because that changes that up. But they're starting to get so good with the difficult choices there. Same with the Atlas tree, right? I'm always feeling like, oh, if only I had 20 more points. If only I had even 5 more points. Did give me 2? Yeah, I had 2 more. Like there's always something I'm missing, and like I really like that. That's my favorite thing. Because there's a lot of games where it's just like these are the obvious things to do. That's all you need to worry about. But PoE just isn't. PoE is so good for that, where it's just so many hard choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was watching a Jung stream the other day, and he was like PO being some I can't remember what the unique helmet is called, but the Foulborn version of it grants spell damage as attack damage for retaliation skills specifically, and it does it at 200% of the value, right? And I was like, okay, that's like hit-based retaliation builds are really awkward, right? I've actually played one. I played one back when they first got released, and they're pretty damn awkward. That's why people play like bleed builds and stuff and ignite. But that damage number is crazy, right? How much scaling you get. And then I actually went into PoE and not in PoE. I went onto PoE Ninja and had a look at like some builds that were already using that. And then I was like, oh, there's also Volatile Vaal Orb. And then like now the scaling is 240%. And also, on top of that, the Wrath Pith is also up to 6% instead of 5%. So the scaling is just absolutely insane, right? So, and then I think I looked on there and like one of the top 3 builds on there, some guy was just doing like 200 million every hit with his retaliation. That's like, okay, that's... But yeah, they are pretty crazy. They had like an interesting layer to the game, I think, where it's like your build never really feels like it's finished. There's always like more to go, right? Because some of them are just so unlikely to happen as well. Like for example, the Fortify gloves, right, from Exarch. Like if you're in Trade League and you had like infinite currency and you're trying to chase those, like it gets divined before it gets the corruption effect, right? So that's a 1 to 10, right? 1 to 10 roll. It's the same with Dawnbreaker.
+12.
Yeah. Like the crazy thing is, like Dawnbreaker, for example, I've been looking at a trade for Dawnbreaker, and for the first 10 days, the highest one that was on there was 21%. Because no one was able to hit one item. This was in softcore trade, right? I guess not many people were actually using it on that item, and obviously, that goes just because of the type of
pretty rare to farm, even with like
and they're expensive.
I struggle.
Yeah.
Oh, you can actually use if you use the Beyond Scarab that gives you all bosses. That one helps a lot. That one's OP.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
People on stream said I was getting unlucky, but I killed like 150 bosses before I got my first one. And I was like, these are...
That's insane. I farmed that for like 3 days. They drop pretty frequent. Like every third to fourth map, I drop one, yeah.
What?
Yeah. I haven't seen him that frequently.
Yeah,
I did it, to be fair. Yeah. I did it with shrines, to be fair. So I always had a lot of mobs in the Mirage. Like, because the Mirage has a new spawn of the bosses. So you can
but I always got the bosses.
Really?
Yeah, the bosses wasn't the problem. They just didn't drop it. I have so many like tainted fusings and stuff.
Interesting.
That's just
very annoying. To be fair, people in chat were like, where is your RNG now? This was right after I got my diamond massive belt, so people were like, deserved.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit to close out the pod. We have a Gauntlet coming up this league, which hasn't been officially announced just yet. But what I kind of want to get some information from you is more like how you feel the meta is going to develop, especially in terms of like builds for this league, and not just builds, but the fact that the tree is there as well, right, from Breach. How do you feel that's going to go, like in a Gauntlet setting?
Well, I think every single player is going to use companionship. That just looks like a really nice support gem. It'd be a shame if something were to happen to it. So yeah, I think that's going to be the meta. Awful tragedy if something were to occur, like that it can't drop. Who knows?
Oh God.
And yeah, I mean, like, meta-wise is going to be interesting. It depends on how much damage we put, like, because like the more damage we put, we end up kind of forcing some builds out of Ubers, and we like end up. It's like, oh, with this amount of damage, people will play like Juggernauts, Marauders, and Slams. If we do even higher, people can only play ES builds, so you're forced into Trickster. So the main thing, obviously, we do always try to kill Ben. I think there's only been 1 or 2 gauntlets that haven't been cleared. But, you know, it has happened, and that's always fun. But we do want to make sure that it's a fun gauntlet. That's like the number one thing that we're going for. So we, should be some cool stuff coming. I'm excited for it. So the date is April 8th. That's pretty locked in. Pretty locked in at this point.
I love the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is such an amazing event, and how it's developed as well over the years is just incredible. Like I love that, you know, GDG also adopted it and have it in game like as a thing that, you know, people can just easily play. And all the stuff that's been added to it over the years, like the campaign bosses and things like that, it's just a great experience overall.
I do love what it's become. It's so cool watching people die, to be honest. Like it's so cool.
Yeah. But speaking of the meta,
there's something special about it.
Well, one thing I wanted to touch on actually for this particular Gauntlet, how do you feel about like life stacking builds? I really feel like this Gauntlet, like this hasn't really been a thing in other Gauntlets, right? There's been so many Gauntlets where the end game build has always been like it's absolutely energy shield stacking, right? It's just it has to be because, but this Gauntlet in particular is interesting because Greywind Wrathpith is really strong. Like, really, really strong. And
we have had life builds before.
Yeah. I think I want to say, I actually want to say that it might be the case that more life builds have actually won the Gauntlet. I know that Ben has won the Gauntlet several times on life builds. I know that for sure. And I think when like Exile won the Gauntlet, he was playing a Sabo, right? Was that right? Was it a Sabo or was he playing a Sabo?
I can only, off the top of my head, I can only think of 2 or 3 gauntlets that were won by ES builds, and they're the ones that we made it like really messed up.
They're like the more recent ones,
with
right?
the 100.
It's like more recently.
Recently, they have been won by ES.
Yeah, they've been really dominant, and I think part of that is like after the 3.25 change, like with the bases just getting scaled out of they're just out of control, right? Like Energy Shield is just going crazy, so. But
it's also that it was doable to scale, get an ephemeral edge, right? That's less of an option now. Like you can get one, but you can't bank on it.
You can volatile it.
Oh yeah, very fun. I mean, it's tier 0 now, so there's gonna be so many crazy volatile items. It's hard to decide what's gonna be super strong and powerful for each continent, and we almost never want to ban anything. The only time we banned something was when DD, like corpse kills, were just so pro-leveled for so many gauntlets in a row. So it was just like, we don't mind if something's completely broken in OP for the most part, as long as it's still going to be like a fight. If it's something that, like, let's say that there was a gem where you would just walk up to an Uber and one-shot it, that wouldn't be cool. But other than that, like, we aren't really that keen on like banning actual builds or like saying people can't play things. Because we do want to see different OP things, because usually it's unique and new to that patch. And obviously, while the rank 1 race is always exciting, you do get a rank 1 race for each class. So there are several times where like rank 1, Ranger or Shadow ends up being really interesting. It's like, oh my god, who is actually going to finish with the most points here? And we've had some huge upsets in the patch where we're like, wow, that was like last minute and they just submitted 5 Ubers. So I do love
if there
that.
was a gem that you could play on most ascendancies and then you could one-shot Ubers, then that would be a problem, right? That would be
a problem, Falstron. Yeah, would not like that. Yeah. Something where that is the reason DD got banned, and what we started disliking after Seismic, right? Because we started seeing Seismic being played on every ascendancy. We're like, bro, this is the Seismic Gauntlet.
I do think the tree makes it a little bit interesting. I think we're going to see the most Mage Bloods we've ever seen in the Gauntlet, in this Gauntlet. Because, like, in terms of, like, we do see Mage Bloods, right? We see them in the Gauntlet, like, it happens. Sometimes even very good players get a Mage Blood. But it's like...
Very rarely.
It's very rare, yeah. But this time, like, I don't know, people are just playing so much, they're just spamming the tree. Like, we're going to see Mage Bloods come from the tree. And obviously, we've also got the Shrine Battle, which is really interesting. We probably will see
Mage Bloods.
Yeah.
But Breach is really the XP as well, so people are going to do it.
I think we've only had one competitor get a Mage Blood. Like, somebody that's actually, like, top 10.
Yeah.
And he died. So, like, it wasn't like it. It didn't make a big difference.
Yeah. All right. So, that just about wraps it up. You guys want to say anything else in regards to the current patch?
I love it.
Yeah, so do I, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great, yeah. Okay, Zid, so any content you're working on, other than prepping up the Gauntlet for later on this patch, give yourself a shout out where people can find you.
Yeah, Scissorin on every platform. And again, thank you guys so much for having me on. It was super fun doing this. And just working on Gauntlet. That's going to be the 8th of April. And then we'll try to pull myself away for Last Epoch for at least a day or two. Other than that, I find Voltaxic. I really want to make Voltaxic Champion Spark. So I'm trying to farm like an Acceleration or Echoing Belt. But obviously they remove the...
Do we know if the pen is global? So it's not just the weapon, it's global? The Ignore res? Is that what you mean?
I hope so.
You'd have to look.
Yeah, okay.
Not that I'm doing something else. I hope so. I don't know. I was just thinking like it would be fun to do some Blast from the Past builds. I also just found during this a +3 replica Dragonfang for Essence Drain. So I'm like, it would be cool to just do some Blast from the Past.
That is a
builds.
Blast from the Past.
That's big bait from GGG. Holy.
Like it would be nice. Because like I feel like we're in a patch where most builds work as long as you don't want to kill Ubers. Like if you just want to kill something, like you want to farm maps, you want to grind, then most builds work. So I think it's a cool patch for like changing things.
There's almost no farms that need like 50 million damage anymore. Like it's just, which is kind of cool. It kind of feels a little bit like old PoE where the meta was kind of re-rolling new builds instead of min-maxing.
I love that. I have like 6 builds alive.
Yep. No.
I even did a gold found character.
That's an interesting concept. That's pretty fun. Yeah, the gold found.
Yeah.
All right, so you heard it there, guys. April 8th, log into the Gauntlet and die. That's it for this pod. Thanks for watching another episode of the PoE Report, and we're signing out.